communities that are represented here today. I'm Casey Baylitz. I'm the president of the Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are certainly pleased to be a partner certainly in today's event, as well as a beneficiary and a partner and a supporter of the project that we're here today to celebrate. Obviously, we're really pleased to have all of you join us today. You know, at 9 a.m. on a late October day, who knows? It could have been like the day we opened the chamber office, which was 34 degrees or something along those lines and windy. And so thanks for all of the chambers along the route who take credit for the Chamber of Commerce weather today. I'd like to introduce a few dignitaries who are with us today, and then I'll introduce you to our speakers today as well. Representing the city of Fremont is their City Council President, Larry Johnson. Folks, if you just wave and be recognized. Chairperson for Rogers, Kathy Cummings. Thank you, Kathy. Schuyler Mayor Dave Reinecke. Columbus Mayor Mike Moser. North Bend Mayor Jeff Cluthe. Jeff, welcome. Senator Paul Shoemaker from Columbus in District 22. Senator Jerry Johnson from Wahoo in District 23. David Schnur, Senator from District 15. And Senator Jim Scheer from Norfolk District 19. Senators, is there any other current senators that came that I didn't know about? I sure don't want to miss any of you today. Wonderful. All right. A couple of former senators who are with us and certainly have been part of this process, because we all know these are not short-term efforts. So certainly want to recognize you as well. Chris Langemeyer from Schuyler, Arnie Stuthman from Platte Center, and former Senator Lauren Schmidt from Butler County, and certainly one of the authors of the original expressway system legislation that really, from almost 30 years ago now, led us to where we are today. Josh Merning is with us from 4 Lanes for Nebraska, and mayoral candidate for Norfolk. We'll have to leave it at that for a few more months, or a couple more months anyway. Kevin Damagala, our district engineer, and certainly a wonderful partner in today's event, as well as the project overall, of course. I want to recognize Louis Pofall. Lou was a big part of pulling together the partners that needed to happen to make this project move forward. Representing Schuyler Economic Development, Kim Cavanaugh is here. Kim, saw you. There you go. Bill Flint, chairman of the board for the Columbus Area Chamber, is with us today. Bill. Stan Darling from the Fremont Chamber is here today, another great partner in this project as well. Mark Zimmer from the Norfolk Chamber, and shortly we'll have one of these and you get to host us on 275, right? There you go. Tom Crockett, Vice President from Hawkins Construction. Tom, thank you very much for being here. So if you would join me in thanking all of those folks for coming and celebrating with us today. We have 4 very distinguished speakers today, and very pleased that the schedule worked out for all 4 of them to join us. Kyle Schneewise will speak first. He joined the Department of Roads as director last June, I believe it was, when appointed by Governor Pete Ricketts. It came from a background in civil engineering, policy issues in transportation, and private sector consulting. He has brought a unique perspective to the department, and I think anyone in the state would agree that he's been a guy that's made things happen and really changed a culture in a very positive way. He began his career in Kansas at the Department of Transportation there, has worked in some private consulting, and then, fortunately for all of us, came to the great state of Nebraska. Please welcome Director Kyle Schneewise.
Thank you, Casey. Senator Fisher, great to see you. Thank you for being here, Lieutenant Governor, Congressman. It's great to share the stage with all of you. I'd like to thank Casey from the Chamber for organizing today. And if you don't know, Casey's been a member of the Innovation Task Force at the Department of Roads over the past year, and can't thank you enough for your leadership on that group. And we really appreciate your support there. And I know you mentioned Kevin. I have to call Kevin out again. Kevin, always ready to work, as you can see in the vest. Our district engineer, Kevin, thank you for your leadership out here in the district. You really are the boots on the ground, and your people are the folks that are making it happen, so thank you. Thanks to Hawkins Construction. We're looking forward to partnering on the project as we go forward, and to Shimmer and Associates, who are the lead design firm. I believe we've got a representative from them. And then there are a lot of folks at the Department of Roads who are behind the scenes, and I just wanted to mention a couple names. Sayed Atola, lead designer, and Kelly Truxell. Did I get your name right, Kelly? Yeah, Kelly. Thank you guys for your leadership at the Department of Roads, behind the scenes, making sure we got to where we are today. It's really appropriate for us today, at the end of a very busy summer at the Department of Roads, that we're entering in the fall and we're breaking ground on this project. It really, for me, represents all of the things we're trying to accomplish at the Department of Roads. We are delivering projects that are going to impact communities and grow the state's economy, and that's exactly what this project's about. And it wouldn't be made possible without the Build Nebraska Act and the Transportation Innovation Act, two landmark pieces of legislation for our state. And as we've gone forward in trying to implement those pieces of legislation, just a month ago we announced several more projects that are committed to construction. And at the department, we really are trying to focus not just on the road, not just on the engineering side of how to build the best infrastructure, but on how these projects affect communities. And so as we select the projects, we are not just taking engineering into account, we're taking economic impacts into account, and we're taking the input from the public and the communities. And so all of you who came to our meetings over the past 6 months, I can't thank you enough for the support and for helping us get to where we are today at the department. So the project, 26 miles of 4-lane on US 30. We're going from 2 to 4 lanes. It'll be an expressway project. It takes us one more step in completing that vision of the 600-mile expressway system. And slowly but steadily, we're getting there. When we announced our projects a month ago, the next round of projects, there was a letter to the editor in the, I don't remember which paper. And somebody said, what is the Department of Roads doing picking these projects? What about Schuyler to Fremont? And I thought, good idea, let's break ground. So here we are, see, we listened. The project, this really is a key connector for us here in the state, though. It connects two of our growing communities. I believe Fremont is the 10th largest community in the state, connecting to Columbus, our 6th largest. So it really makes a lot of sense. This is just a critical and important project. And it's good. We're going to modernize the facility. It's going to be safer. We're going to grow the state's economy, the region's economy, and the local economies in these communities. And so just very, very excited about the project. And, you know, I've been saying, but there's a lot of folks talking about infrastructure in our country and the need to invest. In Nebraska, we are doing something about it. We are building projects. We're putting Nebraskans to work, and we're going to grow our state's economy because of it. So it's an honor to share the stage with all of you. I feel so lucky to be here and to build on the work of so many who have come before. And just looking forward to not only the rest of today, but being back here in a couple years to cut some ribbons. So thank you for having me, Casey. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Director. Next up is our Lieutenant Governor, Mike Foley. He is the 41st Lieutenant Governor of Nebraska, serving since elected last year with Governor Pete Ricketts. He has also, as you all know, served as a member of the Nebraska legislature and as Nebraska's auditor for 8 years prior to becoming Lieutenant Governor. Please welcome Lieutenant Governor Mike Foley.
Thank you, Casey. What a great day for Nebraska. You know, about 20 years ago, a very visionary governor, Kay Orr, launched the construction of the Nebraska's expressway system. It was a fabulous effort, and it took our state to the next level. But more was needed. And along came a very talented young state senator, now a U.S. Senator Deb Fischer, who authored the Build Nebraska Act, LB 84, a landmark piece of legislation. Some of you are part of that key piece of legislation. And took us to the next level, but still more was needed. And building on that fine work of Senator Fischer, Governor Pete Ricketts and his roads director, Kyle Schneeweiss, authored the Transportation Innovation Act, which freed up another tens of millions of dollars more to finish out this expressway system that Governor Orr launched 20 years ago. This is a very, very important day for Nebraska. It's going to help build our economy in so many different ways. You know, at the end of the day, Nebraska is all about 3 industries. We're all about agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism. And we're not going to go forward with those industries with our existing system of roads and highways. We've got to do more. Senator Fischer recognized that and took some leadership, and now Governor Ricketts has done the same. Today in Nebraska, 100,000 Nebraskans are going to go to work at some 2,000 manufacturing facilities. And over the course of the year, they're going to contribute $30 billion to our state's economy. And the governor and I have been crisscrossing the state in recent weeks, visiting many of those facilities. It's fascinating. We're building everything from lawnmowers to jet skis to subway cars center pivot machines. And we're exporting the machines to every corner of the globe, initially by rail and much of it by highway. And again, we've got to grow this sector, but we can't do it with our existing roads and highways. We've got to do more. So it's a great day for Nebraska. 2 million people this year, speaking of tourism, 2 million people this year are going to visit the Henry Bailey Zoo. Another million will go out to Lake McConaughey. And another million will go to Mahoney State Park. And millions more will go to dozens of other tourist attractions across the state. But we can't grow this sector without doing more. So it's a great day for Nebraska. I salute you, Senator Fisher, Governor Ricketts, Kyle Schneeweiss, and all those in our federal delegation. Thank you, Jeff, for your work as well. For all those who've made this day possible. Thank you all so much.
Next, I am pleased to introduce our congressman from the 1st District, Jeff Fortenberry. He is a member of the House Appropriations Committee. Prior to serving in Congress, he worked in private industry and publishing in Lincoln. He's been on Lincoln City Council, so he understands local politics as well. We have now covered both boats and roads with the congressman, so we got to do something with an airport, and we pretty well have it handled, don't we? We're pretty close. Please welcome Congressman Jeff Fortenberry.
Thank you, Casey, for the kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Great to see you all on this lovely fall day. You know, when I look around here, what I see is really one thing. It's a team. I see golden shovels behind us, but I see effort by persons who are no longer in public office, but are here to be honored and commended. This whole effort beginning 20 years ago, and the continuity of leadership, both at the federal as well as at the state, but most importantly, the local community level with the chambers of commerce, and all of you who had a role, to me, is extraordinarily impressive. That's the meaning of a team. That's the meaning of the values of Nebraska. And I even see from our sign behind us, we got Jesus involved, which is, well, what a beautiful gift that we can be here and celebrate. We can be here and celebrate all together and not be afraid to be with one another, not be afraid to say who gets credit and who doesn't, but all of us together at multiple levels of government and community, even sharing values that we're not afraid of. I want to also commend my former staff member, Lou Pofall, who tirelessly worked on my behalf with many of you for many, many years on this. Thank you, Lou, for all of your dedicated service. We're living in a time in our country where there is deep divisions. Obviously, this is being played out at a national level. But again, here we are today about to turn some dirt. And I think what most Nebraskans want, I'm sure what most Nebraskans want, and I think what most Americans want, is for your government to simply get things done in a constructive fashion, things that have meaning, basic public policies and services that can enhance commerce, that can create linkages between the community and create a vision of proper, sustainable economic development that is beneficial to all. That fundamentally is what we're celebrating here today. So I wanted to come and again, thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for the privilege of representing you at the federal level, but also sharing with you this important development, this important work, and this important achievement for our state. Thanks so much.
And finally, we come to our final speaker of the morning. And honestly, if you want to know who's responsible for it being this morning with the sunshine and all, it's really Senator Fisher, because she was probably one person that we couldn't do this without, given the role that she has played in this. You all know, of course, but Senator Fisher is a lifelong Nebraskan, served as our senator since 2012, now a member of the Armed Services and Commerce Committees in the Senate. Before her election, of course, she served in the Nebraska unicameral representing the 43rd District, and during that time was the author of the Build Nebraska Act, which provided the funding which is going to build the project that we are here today to celebrate. So really, in a lot of ways, Senator, you are truly responsible for what we celebrate today, and that leadership is much appreciated. We hope that the Build America Act will have the same success the Build Nebraska Act has had at some point down the road, because certainly what you provided us here is a great model at the federal level as well. Please welcome Senator Deb Fisher.
Thank you very much. It is such a pleasure to be here today. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Governor Foley, my good friend, Congressman Fortenberry, who I get to see at the Nebraska Breakfast every Wednesday in D.C., How many of you have been there and seen his charts?
Oh yeah, love the charts. Sorry.
Apologies are extended. And of course, Director, thank you. About a month ago, I had the pleasure to travel across Nebraska with Governor Ricketts, with former Governor Kay Orr and the Director, and be a part of announcing the new projects that are going to be built across the state of Nebraska. You know, we are a state of such vastness, and we understand the importance that good highways, good bridges have for us individually, for our families, for our communities, for our economy. So I was very, very pleased to be able to work on funding for infrastructure when I was in the legislature. When I was traveling with Governor Ricketts and Governor Orr told stories about my dad. Some of you might not know, but my dad was the Director State Engineer under Governor Kay Orr. And he was the person who came up with the 88 study. He was the person who worked with Governor Orr in making sure that we recognize in this state all parts of Nebraska, that we recognize the diversity that makes us strong. We need to make sure that every citizen in the state of Nebraska has access to governmental services, has access to medical services, to their communities, to link these communities around the state. And Governor Orr said that my dad, Jerry Strobel, walked in her office and said, you know, hey, I've got this plan for expressways. And I just thank Governor Orr for her vision and her determination and her political courage to be able to step up and say, this is a project we need to do. We need these 600 miles. We need to recognize the importance of every area in the state of Nebraska. We need to make sure that our people are connected. We need to make sure that our commerce, our products travel